Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel in partnership with sharpbetting.co.uk, your home of betting tips and analysis. Please click the link in the description if you want to find out a bit more about what they do. Plenty of odds and betting tips and analysis on boxing, which is why we are here, Danny. We are in final prediction mode for one of the undercard fights on April 26th at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We are, of course, talking about the trilogy between Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur. So yeah, we'll go straight into it, Danny. Thanks for joining me, mate. What is your final prediction for Yarde Arthur 3?
Straight in, no kissing. I like it, PK. I think I'm going to go with a similar result to the rematch. I think Anthony Yarde's going to win this fight inside the distance. Although he's not been operating at the highest level since defeat to Artur Beterbiev, what's that, 2 and a bit years ago now, and he's had, maybe not particularly in his last fight against, was it Vilkan's the fella's name, not the best performance. I think he's probably still a bit too fresh, too athletic, hits too hard for Lyndon Arthur, who, if we're being honest, also hasn't been pulling up trees, since the Yarde fight, really, since the rematch. So I'm going to go Anthony Yarde with a stoppage inside the first 6 rounds.
Oh, we threw that in at the end there. I was wondering when I was going to kind of press you and ask you when about, but
Don't need to
inside,
press me, son. Come on.
no sitting on the fence, but I like it. Right inside the distance and inside 6 rounds. Danny is saying, I agree with person you think's going to win. I think Anthony Yarde wins. I agree with your method of victory. Also, I believe Anthony Yarde will win in similar fashion to what he did, as you said, in the rematch. That being said, I'm going to go a little later than you. Think I still, I kind of don't know what version of Anthony Yarde we're going to get. Similarly, I don't really know what version of Lyndon Arthur we're going to get. Like obviously, Arthur, he was in survival mode in that fight against Dimitri Bivol and didn't get stopped until the very end. Like, but kind of if you're looking at that, you're probably going to fight a different fight. You'd think against Anthony Yarde, and at the end of the day, he is fighting someone he has beaten before, so there will be that element of confidence there. But I do see a similar result to the rematch. I agree with you in that sense. I'll maybe not go just as early as yourself, Danny. I'll maybe go rounds if we were doing it. If I was doing it from a betting angle, I'd maybe go the round 7 to 9, so the third quarter, so to speak. Probably if one individual round, I'll go round 7. So yeah, interesting, mate. If I had to push you and say, right, Danny, Anthony Yarde's winning via stoppage in one round, what round are you going for?
Well, I struggle to get a winner right these days, so I definitely wouldn't advise our followers to go do any bets based on this. I had to pick a round, maybe 4, 5. Say 5 because I know you're going to say 4 or 5, so I'll go 5.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Fair enough, fair enough. Well, we shall see on April 25th. Hopefully it lives up to expectation and it is a good fight. I mean, wouldn't want it to be a bit of a 10 or whatever 12 round kind of snooze fest. I hope that doesn't turn into that. Um, just hope for a good fight, and yeah, we'll see what happens, mate. It just want to outline the odds that our partners, Sharp Betting, have on their website. They're kind of they're seeing it as a resounding Anthony Yarde victory. I think judging by the percentages, 83% chance that Anthony Yarde wins the fight, and only a 17% chance that Lyndon Arthur wins the trilogy. What do you make of those odds? Obviously, we've both gone with Yarde and both gone with stoppage, but are they a little too wide, or is that kind of how you see this, an 80-20 and 85-15 kind of fight?
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I mean, it's understandable why the odds are what they are and people's perception is what it is when you consider how one-sided that rematch was. The first fight, Lyndon Arthur boxed very well, obviously best performance of his career. That was very close, and that was a long time ago. And even though there's not a great deal, certainly in terms of Anthony Yarde's wins, to say he's a much better fighter than that rematch, there's also very little in Lyndon Arthur's recent form that would lead you to believe you're going to see a better version of him than you saw in the rematch. That's not to say he's got no chance. He's shown on a given night he can beat Anthony Yarde. It's just given off what we've seen, there's not much to indicate the fight goes differently to how it did in the rematch. But we'll see. We'd love to see Lyndon Arthur do well. He's he's coming towards the end now, and you would think defeat here would be the end. But I can see why Yarde is such a big favourite. Yeah.
Yeah, well summarised, mate. I think I agree with you in terms of a percentage split and the odds. They don't surprise me at all. It's not like I'm looking at it thinking, oh, the bookies have missed something here. Like,
No.
obviously, all the value, if you are going to bet on this fight, would be with Lyndon Arthur in terms of the return that you would get for your stake if he was to win. But as you said, it is a big ask. But then you can just look. I know it was a long time ago, but he did win, and he showed he can beat Anthony Yarde. Obviously that was around. I think that was around the time with Anthony Yarde having those personal problems with his family as well. So did that play a factor? We don't know. We don't know. But yeah, the rematch was so resounding, and in favour of Anthony Yarde, that can see why those odds are on display and why so many people think Anthony Yarde is going to win. And like you and I, probably inside the distance. Danny, pleasure as always to be joined by you, mate. Looking forward to all of these fights on April 26th at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So yeah, great to be joined by you. If you're watching this video and not doing so already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let us know in the comments your thoughts